Good day everyone and welcome to video number 1 of our supplemental topics under lesson 4, which is location planning and analysis. In this video, I will discuss 3 common techniques in evaluating location alternatives. The first technique is the cost-profit volume analysis, wherein you have to compute for the total cost and to compare the total cost, and the alternative that will give us the lowest total cost will be chosen. The total cost is the sum of your total fixed cost and the total variable cost. Your variable cost will be computed by multiplying the variable cost per unit with the quantity or the volume of output. I have here an example of the 4 potential locations, A, B, C, and D. The fixed costs are the following, and the variable cost per unit are also given. The production volume is 10,000 units, so you have to compute for the total cost for each location. This table provides us the solution in the computation of our total cost. So you have to add the fixed cost and the variable cost. The variable cost could be obtained by multiplying again the unit cost given. Let us say for location A, it's 11. Location B, it's 30. C, variable cost per unit is 20. And D is 35. And the volume or unit of production is 10,000 units. So multiplying these two, we will get the total variable cost. Add this to our fixed cost, you will get the total cost. So with that, the lowest cost is location C, which is 350,000. So with our example, location C has the lowest total cost, so that will be chosen by the decision maker. Cost-profit volume analysis is an easy technique in evaluating different alternative decisions, provided you have your fixed cost and your variable cost. So in actual, it necessitates the analysis of the behavior of your different costs and expenses, whether they are fixed or they are variable. So you have to analyze, let us say, if you are paying rent expense, if it is fixed or it is variable, if you have gasoline and oil expenses, if you have salary for your employees there, if you have the delivery and other shipment costs, yung mga toll fee, mga cost ng mga maintenance, so it should be properly classified into fixed and variable. Next one is the factor rating approach, wherein we will be using the different factors under each consideration. We have sa country consideration, regional, community consideration, and specific site consideration. So on our learning packet, we had identified different factors under each consideration, and that will be used for factor rating. So under factor rating, let us say for this example, we have alternative 1 and alternative 2. So using the factor rating approach, para tayong mag-judge sa isang beauty contest wherein we have to lay down the different criteria for judging. So we have to understand the priority of the business. We have to understand the different factors na bibigyan natin ng malaking puntos sa pamimili natin ng mga locations or ng pamimili natin ng location ng business natin. So let us say for this photo processing company, they had chosen 6 factors, the following: proximity to existing source, traffic volume, rental cost, size, layout, operating cost. So yan yung mga factors na gusto nilang i-consider sa mga alternative na available. Then each factor will be given corresponding weight, At yung total ng weight natin, if it is in decimals, dapat equal siya sa 1. If it is in percent, equal siya dapat sa 100% natin. Then, each alternative will be given score. So, tayo ang mag-a-assign ng score. Kaya nga sabi ko para tayo mag-judge ng beauty contest. So, from a scale of, let us say, 0 to 100, with regards to proximity to existing source, ilan ang ibibigay mo na score sa alternative 1, ilan sa alternative 2. With regards to traffic volume, what will be your score for alternative 1, alternative 2? As you can see here, tie lang sila. And then with regards to operating costs, alternative 1 is 80, then alternative 2, you give a score of 90. So, ikaw ang mag-a-assign ng mga score na to. Then, yung weights na ilalagay mo dito, sabi ko nga kanina, depende doon sa mga factors na gusto mo talagang bigyan ng malaking weight or malaking puntos. Okay, then after that, okay, you will be computing the score of each alternative by multiplying the weight with the score that the decision maker had given. So you have here proximity to existing source is 0.10. You have to multiply it by 100. So that will give you 10. And then for alternative 2, 0.10 will be multiplied with 60. So that will give you 6. So do the same with the rest of the factors. Let us say for operating costs, you have a weight of 0.15. So you multiply 0.15 with 80. And 0.15 with 94, alternative 2. Then add all those products. So that will give you the total score for each alternative. And obviously, since we are using factor rating, here is our criteria, the factors that we are considering for our location decision. So the alternative that will give us the highest cost or the highest rating will be chosen. So just like here, 82.7. So that means alternative 2 will be chosen. The third technique in evaluating different location alternative is the transportation model. The transportation model is being used by companies with different factories and with different warehouses. So the factory serves as the sources of the goods that will be allocated, and the warehouses will serve as the destination of those goods. In example, if your company has 3 factories, and considering also this 3 warehouse facility as the storage facility for the products produced by each factory. So each factory has its own capacity. They have their own volume of production, so that represents the supply. Same as true with our warehouses, wherein they have each demand, or they have also their capacity with regards to the number of units that they could accommodate. And in transportation model, the location of the factories are situated from different places. The same with the warehouses, they are located in different places in our country. So under transportation model, you will answer the problem where to put the products produced by the factories. Which warehouse are you going to choose? So that will be answered by the transportation model. So let us say if the capacity of factory number 1 is 100, but warehouse 1 could only accommodate 50 and warehouse 2 could accommodate 50 as well. Are we going to assign 50 here and 50 here? So that could be answered by the transportation model by using a transportation model, which I will discuss today. To understand the approaches in transportation model, we have to understand first the transportation table. We have here an example for XXX company, wherein XXX company has 2 factories represented by F1 and F2. and 3 warehouses represented by W1, W2, and W3. Each factory has its production, and that represents the supply, and each warehouse has the capacity, and that represents the demand. So, kung ilang number of units yung kailangan ng mga warehouses na yon, at kung ilan naman ang kayang isupply based sa production ng mga factory natin. So, the transportation model will not be complete without the cost per unit. So, itong mga figure na to na nakikita nyo na nasa upper right-hand corner ng mga maliliit na box natin, we call it as the cost per unit in dollars to transfer a good from the source to the destination. So this simply means that if you transfer one unit or one product from factory 1 to warehouse 1, you will incur 15 pesos per unit. Then from factory 1 to warehouse 2, that will be 30. Factory 1 to warehouse 3, that will be 20. Factory 2 to warehouse 1, 30. Factory 2 going to warehouse 2, the cost per unit is 40. Then from factory 2 going to warehouse 3, that will be $35. Let us have the first approach under the transportation model, which is the northwest corner method. So given our transportation table, so under northwest corner method, you will start with the cell on the northwest corner. So that means on the upper left-hand corner of your transportation table. So this F1 or units from factory 1 going to warehouse 1, this portion is what we call as cell number 1. And then this cell from factory 1, if we will move units from factory 1 going to warehouse 2, we call it as cell number 2. Then this cell will be called cell number 3. Then if we're done with it horizontally, kaya nga tinawag na northwest corner, tapusin muna natin lahat nung nasa northwest side before we'll go down. So this will be labeled as cell number 4, then cell number 5, then cell number 6. So if there will be additional factories and warehouse, move pa rin tayo to the right. And then kung okay na, tapos na lahat ng mga warehouses dyan, saka pa lang tayo bababa ulit sa factory number 3. Kaya nga ang movement natin will be horizontal, then move tayo down, then horizontal ulit, then move tayo down. So that is what we called as the northwest corner approach. So, iyan yung mga cell numbers natin na susundan in assigning the number of units. So again, under northwest corner method, we'll start with cell number 1. And this is what we call as cell number 1. This is cell number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we have to assign as many units as the warehouse could accommodate and factory could supply. So let us say, since we're talking about how many units must be distributed or allocated, or how many units must go to warehouse 1 coming from factory 1. So let us try 25 if there will be any problem with regards to supply or demand. Okay. So let's put 25 here. Okay, so the capacity of warehouse 1 is 25, so there will be no problem. We could cross it out since that means warehouse 1 is already full and it is full of goods coming from factory 1. And then looking at the supply, 50 is the supply or the production capacity of factory 1, but we just assigned 25 on warehouse 1 because that is its capacity. So that means let us move on to cell number 2 and let us see if we could assign units on it. So you have to assign again as many units as the warehouse could accommodate as long as you take into consideration the total supply and demand. So if I will be assigning 25 here, let us see what will happen. So 25 here on cell 1 and 25 in cell 2, that will give us 50 and that is the total supply of factory 1. So I will cross this out, the 50, cross out na natin siya since ibig sabihin fully satisfied na yung factory 1 natin. Distributed na siya or it will be possibly distributed to warehouses 1 and 2. Then looking at warehouse 3, and that is this portion is cell number 3. This part is still empty and cell 3, we can't able to put any unit on it because our factory 1 is already fully satisfied. So this simply means that we have to move on with cell number 4. And looking at cell number 4, though the supply of factory 2 is 30, warehouse 1 is already full of products coming from factory 1. So that means this cell number 4, will be empty also. So from factory 2 going to warehouse 2, which is our cell number 5. So let us see if we could still assign goods on it. If I will assign 20 units here, let us see what will happen. 25 units plus 20, 45. So that means warehouse 2 is full. So it's a combination of units coming from factory 1 and factory 2. Then finally, we still have one cell left, which is cell 6 from factory 2 going to warehouse 3. If pwede pa siyang lagyan. Okay, so warehouse 3 has the capacity of 10. If we're going to put 10 units here, let us see what will happen. So warehouse 3, the capacity of 10, so that's good. So that means we can cross it out. Then let us see if it will come from factory 2, if there will be no problem with our supply. 20, meron na tayong 20 dito. Then meron tayong 10 dito na dinagdag. So that simply means we could not now cross out factory 2. So this will be your assignment of number of units under northwest corner method. Okay, so as you can see, no, under northwest corner method, this is how you will assign the number of units under each warehouse. From factory 1, 25 going to warehouse 1. From factory 1 going to warehouse 2, another 25. And then from factory 2 going to warehouse 2, it's 20. From factory 2 going to warehouse 3, it's 10. And this cell will be empty. So with that, our distribution of the number of units to be produced by factory 1 is now okay. And we're not yet done because we need to get the total cost under each cell. So since we have here cell 1, 2, 5, and 6, let us compute their cost. From factory 1 to warehouse 1, we have 25 multiplied by 15, 25 multiplied by 30, 20 multiplied by 40, 10 multiplied by 35. So doon nang galing sa table natin yung makikita nyo dito sa ating computation. And adding all the products, that will give us the total cost. Again, the total cost under northwest corner is $2,275. So if you will ask me, Mom, is that our final answer? Will that be the final allocation? Is that how we're going to assign the number of units? So yung mga manggagaling sa factory 1, 25 nun, dadalhin namin sa warehouse 1. Then yung 25 from factory 1, we will allocate it to warehouse 2, factory 2. 20 will go to warehouse 2, and from factory 2 again, 10 will go to warehouse 3. So my question is, this is not yet our final allocation. So you have to watch my second video because the second video will teach you the second approach so that we could have our final decision. Thank you very much for watching. Please watch the second video so that you could able to prepare your task.